Morning, everybody. We're taking on Michaelangelo Buonarroti again, who tripped me up on a technicality yesterday. Michaelangelo di Lodovico Buonarroti Simoni. Okay. And he started with d4. So we are going to go Black Knight's Tango, right? Excuse me. All right. I'm going to have us a positional time to attackers. Interesting. E6 is a thought, just undermining. Also, bishop defends knight. My knight currently has an escape square. I feel like that's a concession from Michaelangelo, even though I might be making 3 knight moves. Hang on, I've already made 4. But one of them was this. So I've played knight c6, knight b4, knight a6 here. Okay, so I'm definitely giving up some opening tempo or tempi moves. Interesting. This is not playable. If I bring my bishop out here, surely I'm just going to get b4, aren't I? Let's just do this then. Because I know Michaelangelo messes up. I know he does. I can't really bank on it. So I've got a massive space disadvantage here. And I've got an awkward horse. My lovely horse. See, knight here again. I am just worried about this. But hang on, I've got 2 attackers on there, isn't it? Here, what if he pushes forward again? I mean, is that just nuts? Maybe I should do. I'm thinking d6 now. Kind of secure the knight. He's preemptively thrown in b4. Well, I feel like I almost just need to weather the storm here and allow him just to exhaust himself breaking upon the rocks. Do you know what I mean? Like e5 locks the center. If he carries on, my knight can just dance around here. That's not a problem. I can also castle, but I'm going to push e5. Ha! What do I just dive in here now? Look. I spy with my little eye something beginning with O. Now, an outpost is ideally in your opponent's half of the board, but the point is, no pawn can now bother this knight. And I declare that is a jolly good space for a knight to occupy. So that's where I'm going. Much better than going all the way home. Wee. Now, should I wish, I have a fork on a rook and a bishop. Now, he's not going to give up his rook. The question is, Raymond, is this knight better than that bishop? My opponent has many light squared pawns. That makes his light squared bishop a bit inferior, but his dark squared bishop a bit superior. Now, his dark squared bishop right now doesn't have many prospects on the queen side here. But this pawn can move at any time, putting the bishop on there, and then, don't know. However, the bishop could come here, it could come here, could even come here at some point. So it's tempting to do this, but I've just, very cleverly, after 4 knight moves, managed to wheedle my knight onto an excellent outpost. The centre is closed, which is bishop unfriendly. This guy's particularly going to have a torrid time, because this pawn is dead end. Sorry, this square is dead end. He's going to have to come to e2 and to try and get into the game. Got 2 attackers on this, 2 defenders. Right, now. Bishop g4 is a thought. Just pinning the knight. It may prompt a weakening response, for example. Here, he's almost certainly going to put his rook here. And then if I take that, he's going to take it with a rook. What is the future for my... I mean, my bishops are also similarly unhappy. But if I can trade off this bishop, for example, for that knight... No? Bad bishop, good knight, sleep tight. Don't let the bugs bite, innit? I'm doing it. I did it. Notice the queen still defends e4. Alright. Now, castles. And I think short castles, this is not a board that says, hey, let's have a go at long castles. The reason is, because Laughing Boy here has got half of his pawns are already making progress up the queen side of the board. So that ain't the smartest thing. So I am going to short castle. Okay. You have similar ideas, do you? Okay, I've got this maybe. Attack the rook. Or I just push b6. c6 is also an idea. Very often in these cases when you've got like an advanced d-pawn, I like to push c6 and just chip away. Here, rook moves somewhere that isn't that. I come back here, bishop takes anyway. I take. We are kind of opening up the e-file. And Mike hasn't castled yet. What to do? I actually enjoy playing this knight. This bot. Knight. This doesn't work right now. He's got too many eyes on it. b6, if he takes, I take towards the centre, right? But then we've got a super blocked centre, so what's the point in having extra pawns? I do have this. b6 takes. Still I can't advance c6. Having that extra c-pawn is no benefit whatsoever. So he is actually contesting my nice outpost now. And I don't think b6 is a solution. So this comes up back. If he trades off, there at least I've got an active pawn. But it's also very isolated. However, maybe that'll wake up my bishop. So it's a bit weird now, because on a strategic or positional level, I'm now almost talking myself into opening up the centre. But that makes not much sense in consideration that my opponent has 2 bishops. So key thing though here as well is that the king's uncastled, which then would favour opening up the centre. Well, we just don't know what to do. My key break here looks like f5. Yeah? So maybe something like h6, knight h7, f5 is going to be my way to go. So for that reason, I am pushing b6. I'm going to let him trade here, which he didn't want to do. Okay, that's fine. Interesting. That's undefended. I think I'm going to press ahead with this plan, unless I can find a better place to put my horse. There, because see, I quite like the idea of coming back here. So, also this takes away this square from the bishop. You can see, there he goes. Bishop has to go to a substandard position. Here, And now I can attack the queen, right? Notice that bishop e2 shut off that queen's hopes of scuttling off backwards to centrally, but here the queen does have this, but that's, I mean... Also notice I've now only got the one attacker on this pawn here. So the big question now for black is about the timing of the break pawn to f5. If I was to do it now, he's got pawn takes, I can't take with the rook, eh? But this what if he takes? Then I've vastly improved my bishop. This bishop is still not great. I mean, it's, like we said, it's got no prospects there. It could maybe have something down the king side. So this and trading off the DSB, I'm in favour of that, actually. Okay, Mike isn't. Mike declines. So now again I've got two attackers on this pawn. If I can just eradicate the queen, the winning of this pawn could prove significant in the game. There's no h5. f5 is just silly. I mean, I'm just allowing him to liquidate this backwards kind of pawn here. I can play queen d7, but if takes, and that's, I've just removed one of the attackers of the pawn. So then he just plays, for example, f3 and cracks on with his day. So we really have got ourselves tied up in knots in this game, haven't we? So the key in situations like this is to make improvements to the position, even if they're tiny, and not screwing it up. The second part being most important at the intermediate level. I'm kind of actually, hello. You see, when you just sit and meditate on sometimes things just pop up, right? It doesn't matter. Right, okay, here's another thing, by the way. This is one to write down. And I got this, I think, from Naroditsky. Closed center, tempo becomes less important, right? You can, because it's, when the center is closed, everything becomes more, I mean, what's the word? More long-winded, I guess. That there's no, the lightning tactics kind of go away to some extent, or are stifled, right? So it becomes, everything becomes more positional. So if it's going to take you 4 moves, like I've made more knight moves in this game than I've ever made in, ever before. But sometimes that's all right, is the point. And now we have ourselves a situation. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pawns on dark squares, right? Which appears not to make life very nice for this bishop, but look at the directions of these pawn chains, right? They're all going this away. So if my bishop goes this away, it's, in a way, it's not very hampered. So my bishop has a very natural looking square on here, for example. That could be good. So I'll tell you what I'm thinking about now. I was thinking just about kind of lifting my queen. I don't know. Now he's defended this pawn again, but notice he's put his bishop in a terrible position here. So this bishop is now a full-time defender of a weak pawn, unless this is played. But I'm also thinking, queen d7 and maybe knight sack here. Queen d7 is not a bad move per se, because this dark squared bishop is completely tied up. So I'm going to play it anyway. Okay, so it seems like he saw that and also thought it wasn't a bad idea either. So dropping back here appears to be compulsory. But now we've got h4 up the board. Now, all of these dark squared pawns on my side of the board also make life hard for his dark squared bishop as well. So, one consideration might be this. Oh, look, a bishop. Bishops are worth slightly more than knights, according to many. But that bishop and that knight, I don't know. I mean, this bishop theoretically is looking at a couple of squares in my side of the board here, but he can't actually visit any of them. Likewise, these two, it can't visit any of them. In fact, the only safe places it's got is backwards. This knight, however, you might argue is a master of all it surveys. Doesn't mean I can't advance it, but then I don't want to track my own knight. If f3, something like that. Well, we are really... Having said that, that opens up this pawn, isn't it? And also potentially prepares this. Now, the f5 square is currently only supported by the queen, and also f5 would open up this problem pawn and this awful bishop. So I argue, for that reason, from a positional perspective, no. No, we do not want to do that. That said, what the hell I do, I don't do. Throwing my knight in here would feel like a let's poke it and see what happens. So I don't know, what would you do in this situation? It's an interesting situation. This is not a happy horse. King h8, rook g8, knight f8, knight g6, something like that. Rook g8, you see, we're talking about tiny improvements. Okay, here you take, I take. I ain't bothered. Rook g8. Tiny. Oh, all right. Okay. Here, I have a discovery on h4. Right, now this is like, oh, it's a pawn move, but it's not a pawn move. This is like everything could unravel with this move. So this is highly significant. Now if he pushes on, then this bishop comes to life, and this bishop, the light squared bishop, is entombed forever. Well, for a while. Interesting. He's normally done something stupid by this point in the game. Knight g4. Queen attacks, queen defends, so that's fine. I can play it. That is his good bishop. Well, no, it's not. Neither bishop is arguably good right now. Having said that, my knight isn't awesome, and it's got a replacement. This, does he just drop back there, but then I take, queen takes, queen defends pawn. I'd love to win this pawn. I mean, it gives me something to work with. But I just don't know if knight g4 is, again, it's just a pushing wood exercise. And we have to consider what happens here. If he pushes on, I want that bishop. Because this bishop's just awful, because he's got, look, a massive kind of stone wall of light squared pawns. Having said that, a couple of them are able to move forwards, but they're not going to move forwards very far, are they? If I was to take here, and bishop takes, no, I don't want that bishop to wait. I am inclined to eradicate this bishop. Okay. It'd be nice if my queen was on this square, so I could dive in here. I take, queen takes, pawn takes, queen takes. I have knight hf6 as opposed to knight gf6, because both of them can reach f6, right? That attacks this pawn, and ain't no way for homeboy to defend it. If I do this and you take here, I've got that. Maintains the lock on the e file, which I think is quite important because I want to keep this bishop shut up. f6 is also another way to defend this. But f6 and knight f6 are kind of mutually exclusive. I think absolutely mutually exclusive. We should evaluate this. If here, again, this is also like an outpost. Yeah, it's defended by a piece, and ideally you wouldn't be doing that, but no, I'm doing this. I'm going in, I'm doing it. And lo and behold, he's gone and clogged it up. This queen takes, knight takes here, I win a pawn, I've got then bishop g5, and it's choirs of angels, I think my bishop comes to life. But still, my lovely horse. Okay, I've got two horses. I can sacrifice one horse. There, queen takes, horse g4 again hits the queen. Or do I just want to? Oh! Right, I can't win the pawn because it undefends this knight. Because this pawn push has broken the queen's defense of that knight. And my knight has no retreat squares. So I'm going to pull the trigger. I don't think that was best, but I think it gives me something to work with. It also gives me a pawn. And after this, I've maybe got this, but I might need to retreat my knight. Depends if the queen attacks me, which is quite likely, or even the bishop attacks me, which is also quite likely. So let's say bishop attacks or whatever. I have to come back to f6. That ain't the end of the world. He's still got this big ass problem on this side of the board. And I've won a pawn. So I'm not too concerned. Ooh! Well, we weren't expecting the arrival of g4. Crikey. Right, now, but look what you've given me. Look what you've given me. Happy birthday to me. Also, danger levels. Bishop g5 hitteth the queen. Dramatically improves the prospects of my bishop. And supports this one yet again. From here I've got potential checks. Lordy. Lord. Saints preserve us. And what's more, I've even got like f6 just completely blocking up. Now d, e, f are all... the shutters have come down. This bishop is awful. Now, so I've got two options for my knight here. One is backwards, one is forwards. In general, we like forwards, eh? Much more aggressive, much more betterer. Now, I'd love to slip my queen up here. No, I mean, that's just a move, isn't it? Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. Oh, I wonder, should I trade my knight for your bishop? Well, we know the answer to that question, don't we, boys and girls? Not on your Nelly. Okay, I'm inclined to do this, something like this. Knight takes knight, bishop takes knight. And you then need to stop this idea. Oh, it's not critical, then I'm thinking, wouldn't it be great to... I mean, I need to get my king out there. I'd like to use Harry as a battering ram to break open this. This is now a weakness. This is a backwards pawn, right? So it can't be defended by any of the pawns. This pawn is defended by a bishop, which is not a good use of our time and resources. I've got g6 as well. g6 takes, rook takes. Ah, hello. Hello there. And that isolates this pawn, yeah? g6 pushes. Queen can take, something like that. g6, trade. I'd much rather have a knight on this square than that bishop, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. Even just rook a, f8, with ideas of this. I like that too. Okay, so the question is timing of g6. He's probably going to push and everything. I mean, he likes pushing pawns, as we can see. There's no kind of way to save the knight, is there? Because it is such a good knight. And I don't blame him at all. So again, this is the point. You see, I've got a good piece jammed in my opponent's half of the board. He instantly wants to trade it off. Correct thing to do from Michael. Small improvements. Let's play rook a, f8. Again, look, horrendous bishop. The purpose of that move is anyone's guess. Now g6, if he takes, I can't take there. I'd love to get my king the hell out of there. So g6 now, and what if he pushes? g5 now, I mean, is that just dumb? Put my pawns here, queen here. Push h5. No, he's got... doesn't work. I think he's going to start attacking on this side of the board. He's being attacked on that side of the... well, kind of. I just want to get the king the hell out of there. g6. I can't see how g6 being wrong. Right. I don't think I want to take here, because I don't want him to recapture with the e-pawn. And the reason is I don't want him to resurrect this bishop at all. He takes me, the e-pawn is stuck where it is. That's fine. Right? Now, what about h5? If he pushes, he loses the pawn. If he takes, I take back with check. Maybe my queen should just improve herself just a tiny little bit first with the idea of coming into g5. Okay? You see little tweaks, little tuning valves. h5. If takes, I can recapture with check, or my queen can fly in with check. I think recapturing with check is probably best, like literally opening the file, and then my queen can have ideas. In fact, my queen also has the option of maybe h4. h5 and pushes, bishop takes. Okay, king g7. Or just push on. Or queen g5. Queen g5 pins the pawn, pins the pawn, and it can't take there, because the present issue is two attackers on this pawn, yeah? And it's defended only once, and it can't take because it's in a pin. This is a counter pin. How can it be bad? I'm also threatening... No, I'm not threatening to take there because this pawn is still pinned. Right then, you bugger. King G7, Rook H8. Oh, I mean, this is... This, and now I'm attacking this twice, yes? Rook can't take here because pawn takes. What does this move evoke in you? Mike says. I'm trying to play like I paint, full of sublime terror and divine retribution. Really? Well, I've got two ways to capture this pawn, and I'm going to take the one that maintains the pin, right? Yes. I'm now 2 pawns up against this 1700 bot from hell. And now... Okay, the bishop's pinned by the rookie rook. This is a check. Rook blocks doesn't work. Or I can simply just dance away with the king. Okay, I've got this. See, he can't attack. How's he going to attack this bishop? Right? With the queen. That's the only way. Okay, now obviously the bishop is pinned, right? So I can't take the queen. So let's say, for sake of argument, for sake of argument, I do this. He's in check. But then again, there's no pressure right now. Like, what's going to change? Are reinforcements suddenly going to arrive for this pawn? No. Right? The king dances away. Queen now can't go to these squares. King dances away. You take here. You're just losing more material, bro. Or do I take here? Take here. His king starts to run away. So I'm thinking king e7 first. Right? Here he just starts to run away and my bishop is still pinned and can't join the fun. Having said that, queen here, if I take here and he goes to this square, I can then cut him off with the queen and he's forced back that way, right? I've also just got pawn takes here attacking the rook. I'm not sure I love that, but let's figure it out. I don't know. Do you see? It's like something's bubbling up. I'm taking an age over this game. But it's like the more time that I spend looking at a position, the more interesting the position becomes. And you can do that as well. This is how you improve. You take longer. You read more into the position because all the information is there. And I'm still a million miles away from the way that a titled player would read a position. But it's fascinating. I mean, look, here I'm spoiled, really. I'm now in a winning position. I don't think there's any question about that. But I've got so many options. Running away with the king, I can't argue against it, and the only argument would be that there's an opportunity on the board that I could miss out on if I give my opponent one more move. What is that opportunity? Well, it has to involve the escape of the king. It's nothing to do with that stupid bishop, which is a shit bishop. And I have a check, and checks are worth something. He hasn't got time to do this, even, for example. If I give check, he's not going to block with a rook. I just maybe trade... No, I just take the rook with the queen, eh? Of course, sir. Not going to block with the rook. Therefore, he has to move his king. Now, what if he moves his king here? My bishop's still pinned and can't join in, but it's still, even though it's pinned, it's still guarding these squares from the king. It's not guarding it from anything. Any other piece can step onto these squares, but the king still can't because he's not allowed to move into check, even if the checking piece is pinned, which is a bit of a paradox in chess. This way, it's forcing. I can still play king runs on the next turn. It's not like he's going to do this, but what if he can't even take that? So I don't think there's anything wrong with either of these moves. So I'm going to take the pawn. Okay, now I can't check there. Right, so king back. Then my first thought now is just to run away. Cue the cause. And I'm plus 3 pawns. Which are they? Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Now we're John Lee Hooker. Then, so many earworms, so little time. Right. And now we're getting into a mode that I like to call, this is brand new territory by the way, this is called Hunty Not King It Up at the end of the game. Join me. Okay, this bishop is able to move. This pawn is defended twice and potentially attacked twice should the bishop move. Alright. This is not playable. Rook takes and it's curtains. My advantage is, well, I've got two main advantages. I've got many main advantages, right? One is I have 3 extra pawns. Shui, right? 2 is shit bishop, right? We've established this. We've been talking about how shit that bishop is for the entire game. Also, king safety. There's no pawns in the vicinity. All of his pawns are hovered around the halfway line, right? We're waiting for a goal kick. So, putting all those things together, what are we going to do? Well, that's a very good question. I'm glad you asked. F5. Just no. For the reasons that we talked about earlier. I do not want to wake up this bishop. Right? It's like a weeping angel. I'm not going to blink. So that then kind of leaves this, or the activity of my rooks. Now I could just play g5, h4, move the queen behind and shuffle up the pawns. Is my queen going to get trapped if I play g5? This. King here and rook starts to get frisky. It's not as... What about h4 straight away with ideas of that though? h4, what's he got? Queen can't take. Well, brother. Well. I'm plus 3 pawns. No brainer. Your bishop's still crap. Now, it is going to wake up now. There's no doubt about this. But look. Pawns. I'm plus 3. We have an opposite coloured bishop ending, which does lend itself to drawishness. There's no question about that. But I can stick all my pawns, all 8 of my pawns, on dark squares. This is no threat. Okay, what's going on here? Right, what we have to do now is we have to use our... So it's like everything else is now kind of evened out, with the exception of imbalance number 1, which is black has 3 extra pawns. So what we're going to do with our 3 extra pawns is we're going to put our big guns behind it. Freddie is excused. He's got a note from his mum. Okay? Reason is we don't want to wake up this bishop too early. I can also jam my bishop up his nose as well. But what I'm thinking is, rook's here, behind these 2. And look, it's fine. Look, what move is this? 43. Suddenly this bishop starts to show an interest, okay? But it's going to be too little, too late. I'm lining up these rooks. Yeah, he's guarding this. All right, I get it. So actually it's going to be this, isn't it, I think? Is it? So, okay, what he's doing now positionally, I'm wondering if I really buggered up here somewhere. Because what he's now trying to do is just block the progress of my pawns. I have f5, which we've talked about many times. But he's guarding f5 now with a pawn and a bishop. So here. I might have to break through on the other side of the board now. I don't like the c6 break. I think maybe a6 is going to be the break, right? Forcing something. So do I just... Let's stick a pawn here just to defend this, right? You are not going to trade your rook for a bishop. No, I don't believe it. And that's a can't think of anything else to do move. Right, so I push there. If he takes, rook takes, and he's got an isolated pawn, okay? He doesn't take, I take, my rook gets into the position. So everything is tied up. This is actually my only kind of weakness right now. And this is just pushing wood, I think. Oh, I also have that. No, I don't. I'm going to take here. Oh, he's going to take back the C and E. C and E. Right then. And I don't have... Oh! Cock. So the only way for me to defend is rook a7. Which means I can't take that. Bloody hell. Explain. What is the meaning of this? That's kind of nice, isn't it? I like that. Because I'm wondering actually whether he's got ideas of this now. And I think I might just box in his rook. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, king d8 defends this pawn from the rook, allowing this. What a game! Right. I'm now 4 pawns up. Okay, oh, crikey. Now you're attacking over here. Cripes. I mean, I've also got rook h6 defends it as well. Rook h6 might be preferable, seeing as it's then behind an outside passed pawn. This forces rooks off the board. How can that be bad? I can't move this bishop because it actually hangs this pawn. So now this takes. Also, this rook is then unboxed. And we're still in an opposite colour bishop situation with me having 4 extra pawns. 4, I tell you. He's got pressure on this. I can't attack this rook. The only piece that can attack, because it's this box is actually a defense for the rook as well. I can't attack it with a rook unless I go in this way. And how's that going to work? Also, my king can't actually move here without undefending the pawn. So my rook is actually trapped in this corner of the board. What the hell? This is a lot more complicated than it looks at first sight. There is a hanging pawn. That said. Now, if I go here and he goes here, that is quite a threat. I could get checkmated, actually. So I think I have to guard this. So I'm going to drop my rook back here, just temporarily, with the idea of taking that. See? There was actually a checkmate threat there. I'm now 5 pawns up. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they're all on dark squares. So now I'm thinking this, force the rooks off. I have to reinvigorate this rook, because currently, because of the trappage of my king, hang on, I can't go there, bugger it. I have to like swing around somewhere like here, then my king can, well, do you know what I mean? I don't care. Move 56, I'm in here for the long haul. Right? Okay, so I think it's time now to cash in our material advantage. There, he must take, I take back. I'm going to have to swing my rook around. Okay. I'm thinking maybe this, right? The big issue right now, guys, is his rook getting behind my line. It's almost like my pawn line is now a potential liability. So if bishop here, rook here, king up, rook there, so that's why I'm thinking b5, b4. I think that's really good. b5, b4 blocks off these two open files, or semi-open files. He still can't touch that because his bishop's the wrong colour. Can he come in here? Ah! Maybe this? Defending this pawn again with the bishop. Also making it a bit harder for his rook to get that pawn, maybe. What does he want? He wants to do this, forcing me here. Then he wants to come after this pawn. I think that's all right. And this there. Then my pawn is defended by a bishop. The only thing that can capture that within the realms of possibility is his rook, and that ain't going to happen. Or I can just push the b pawn on. King here isn't playable right now because of that. I can't drop my rook to h7 because bishop takes. I'm going to have to swing the rook around, go around the houses. But I'm prepared to do that. What a finish. And this is often where the bots, you know, really start to show their true colours. Okay, so has he got a plan here? If I drop my rook back, he goes here. I've got time for this. He does that. No, it doesn't work. Okay, drop the rook back. Okay. Doesn't this feels like a classical over the board match? Right, he can't go there. So I'm going to play king e7. That isn't on and that isn't on. All right. Now I think I'll just drop my bishop in here. And the pawn is made now. It's untouchable. Now my rook flies out, yes. Yes, yes. Here comes the rook. And now I'm going to get the rook behind enemy lines. We could even try this trick again. And that just simply wins if I get his rook off the board. I also have this as an idea. If he comes here, bang. I can't see a problem with advancing the b pawn. Okay, I have a check with rook a3 check. I think that forces the king back. Rook can't block, yes? Forces the king back, ties him down. Notice my bishop is looking at a couple of squares down here. Oh, man. Barry is currently the hero. Maybe we should call him Billy for the sake of this game. I mean, this is fine. I feel like my rook just needs to patrol that file anyway. Maybe Billy can... Oh, hello. Now this actually forces the king behind my lines, which is weird. But I do have this, maybe. Can't move my bishop because it's defending that. Okay. Go on, Bill. Off you go, mate. So if Bill here, he's defended by the rook. Oh, do I do this? But like I said, I don't really want to take my rook off the open file. I cannot allow him to... Well, or can I? He comes here. Oh, no. Am I just making this really complicated? H3, H2. How's he going to stop all this? His bishop's in again. He's managed to block it in again. And he... Now, if I push B3, it actually blocks off that as well, so... He's threatening to take with rook then king, which is absolutely fine by me. Be my guest. Knock yourself out. So I think we can encourage that. Bingo. And now how the hell do you stop promotion? Answer is you can. 1, 2, 3. Pawn hangs. All right. We're going to take it simple now. 2 squares you can't go. 3 squares you can't go. This adds more squares you can't go. And isn't a blunder. Notice the pawns are locked, but the bishop has options, so there's no stalemate option. No stalemate risk here. Let's squeeze you in with more checks. Now the bishop. I think that's all right. I'm threatening queen f3. Chexky. Chexky. This is not mate. He has this. But this is pretty devastating. Oh, come on. Because I missed mate in 1, didn't I, in my last game? Oh, sod it. I'm trying to put this one to bed. Bishop there actually hangs the pawn. Finally! Wow, what a marathon! 82 moves! It even says GG on my final move, because the move is Queen G to G2. Alright? Because there was, well, probably multiple checkmates. I think either that, oh no, that wasn't, because bishop takes. But yeah, Queen G to G2. G3, sorry. And this will be Queen F G3. Wow. Okay, I'm going to do a very, very quick review, because that, guys, was a marathon. Okay, let's have a look. Oh. 11 mistakes by White. No blunders. A blunder-free game, kids. A blunder-free game. Over that many moves as well. So look at this. Blah, 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 blah. I earn myself good. I almost lose it, though. So here I'm absolutely winning. Whoa. It really wanted... I don't think I considered that move. And black has lost their advantage now. Wow. Like I say, my endgame is my weakest portion of the game. Okay, 1600 game. I don't know. It felt maybe better than that. My middle game there was my weakest phase. 31 best moves. But over a game of that length and 6 missed wins. That's maybe worth reviewing, but you know what? I'm not going to do it now because that has taken everything out of me. But I got the win over Michaelangelo, so I'm happy with that. Hope it's inspired you. But, you know, honestly, almost feels like I could play this bot every day. For the first time in a long time, I've found a bot on chess.com where I think, do you know, I'm actually enjoying playing this bot. So, you know, well done chess.com, because this is a good one. For the intermediate play, this is a good one. So anyway, that's where we're going to leave it for today. Thank you for watching, everybody. See you soon.